Yo, 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 this your boy, the real McCoy, coming at you, man. We talking to boxing again, man, for all my boxing heads out there, man. And I usually make this video about once a year. I mean, usually I try to do it later in the year. You know what I mean? Just the current state of boxing and the future state of boxing. Just see where we at. You know what I mean? And talk about, you know, fights that happened that calendar year. Then upcoming fights that could be coming on later. You know what I mean? So I just want to make this quick video. 2015. You know what I'm saying? Good year of boxing. Don't let the casual fans or ESP, don't let nobody fool you and say that boxing is dead. Boxing ain't dead, man. Boxing never. I mean, it's been going on for so long. It's going to continue. Boxing is not dead. It's a great sport, man. It's a great sport. So don't be fooled by that. You know what I mean? Boxing is not dead. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, just there are so many fights out there that can be made. Now the politics does get, even with the full-blood boxing fans like myself and so many others, sometimes the politics does get in the way and it gets a little frustrating, irritating as fans. That's why if you go back and look at, I made a video earlier. It's about an hour long. I know some people's attention spans ain't that long. The video was about an hour long, and I made my case for why boxing should have a unified commission. I made a case for it. You may disagree, whatever. Teddy Atlas has been saying it for a while. I know NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, they all have unified commissions. Commissioners like Roger Goodell for the NFL, Adam Silver for the NBA, Rob Manfred, Major League Baseball, hockey, I don't know. They all, I know golf or tennis, maybe golf and tennis. They've talked about having a unified commission, things like that. Not saying it's going to be easy, but the politics sometimes, that's what the fans get frustrated with, and that may be the reason why they say boxing is dead, but it's not dead, man. You've got next Saturday, the Mayweather-Berto fight coming up. A lot of people not really embracing that fight, saying it's a great fight, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Supposed to be Floyd's last fight. I think he's gonna beat Berto. I did a prediction video. If you want to check that out, I did a prediction video for that fight. That's coming up September 12th, the next Saturday. Then earlier this year, May 2nd, we had the mega fight, supposed to be the fight of the century. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. I was telling people that fight went how I thought it was gonna go. An overhyped mismatch. I've been saying that to Pacquiao fans for years. Then when the fight happened, people complained about it. Like I told you guys that, back in 08, 09, you know what I mean, whoever, you know what I'm saying? It was an overhyped mismatch, you know what I mean? But the fight finally happened. We clearly know who's the better fighter. We had recently Deontay Wilder beat Thurman for the WBC. I think was that late last year, was that this year? I think that was this year. Become the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. He did it in his home state of Alabama. He defended his title against was Molina, Eric Molina, knockout in the ninth. That went on. What else we had? We had Danny Garcia moved up the welterweight from 140 to 147. He beat on August 1st. He got Paulie Malignaggi. I like Paulie. I think Paulie, he's found his second calling. He's found his second career, which is a boxing analyst on Showtime. I like Paulie, how he breaks down boxing. He's not biased towards anybody, any particular fighter. He tell you like it is, you know what I mean? He knows what he's talking about. Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi, you know what I mean? I like him. But he's at welterweight now. Keith Thurman is making a name for himself. He beat Robert Guerrero. You know what I'm saying? He beat Luis Collazo. Collazo knocked out Victor Ortiz in the second round a few years back. He's making a name for himself. We had the Chris Algieri fight. Chris Algieri lost to Pacquiao November of last year, I believe. He lost to Amir Khan. Good fight. Lost to Amir Khan. Amir Khan still calling out Floyd. Still calling out Floyd, but he won't fight Kell Brock for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So good year, man. We got some good fights coming up. Berto Floyd. We've got Deontay Wilder and Povetkin. Good fight. That's going to be a good fight, man. The heavyweight, there's going to be a shakeup in the heavyweight division, I believe, with the Tyson Fury and Klitschko in October, and Wilder and Pavakin. Should be some good. I mean, that could change the whole landscape of the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? Those some good fights. November, you got Miguel Cotto, Saul Canelo Alvarez for the middleweight championship. Gonna be a great fight. I'm gonna do a prediction preview fight for that coming up. You know what I mean? That's November, like November 21st, I believe. That's when the date. That's in November. So some good fights, man. Boxing ain't dead, man. Boxing is in good hands, man. If this is Floyd's last fight, if Manny Pacquiao decides to never fight again, boxing is in good hands, man. Because there are a lot of fights out there and fighters that us fans, the casual fans and the hardcore fans, that we want to see, man. You know what I mean? Like in the heavyweight division, there's going to be a shakeup with the fights I just named, the Fury and Klitschko, Pavakin and Wilder. In light heavyweight 175, the main fight, if not the only fight that we really want to see, is a Sergey Kovalev and Adonis Stevenson. Will that fight get down? You know what I'm saying? I think Andre Ward, he's clearly dominated super middleweight 168. I don't think him going up to 175 as far as physically is going to change anything that he will be able to do or give any type of advantage. Maybe we can see a Maybe you can see an Andre Ward and Adonis Stevenson at 175. Maybe an Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev at 175. And these are fights that the fans want to see. That's why I say boxing is good, man. Boxing is good. Then down at middleweight is Triple G. Is Triple G finally going to move up? Is he going to fight Andre Ward at 168? With Triple G's physique and his height, he has no issue at all making 168. That fight should have been happening. You know what I mean? I know both sides, both Andre Ward saying, look, dude, just fight me and get it over with. You know what I'm saying? Stop giving the excuses, Triple G. In my opinion, if you want to make that fight, make that fight. It's that simple. You know what I mean? But you want to stay at 160 there, but there are fights to be made at 160. I think the winner of Canelo, more than likely, they're on a collision course with Triple G, I believe. You know what I mean? Sometimes in the spring or the summer of next year, 2016. I think the loser should fight Triple G. I mean, if Canelo loses to Cotto and Cotto fights Triple G, I still want to see Canelo and Triple G. I want to see Cotto and Triple G. You know what I'm saying? We're getting Canelo and Cotto. You know what I mean? So maybe we can see Canelo and Peter Quillen. Cotto and Peter Quillen. There are some fights to be made at 160. Or maybe Jamel Charlo. Maybe one of the Charlo twins. Maybe they can get a shot. You know what I mean? A lot of people kind of forgetting about them. You know what I mean? I don't think Jamel Charlo, I think he's the better of the twins, the Charlo twins. I don't think he would have an issue moving up to 160. Maybe Charlo and Andy Lee, Charlo and Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen, Charlo and the Triple G, Charlo and the Cotto, Charlo and Canelo. There are fights to be made there in middleweight, at 160 and junior middleweight, 154. You know what I'm saying? You go down to welterweight at 147. It's so deep, it's just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's so deep, it's crazy. Even if you take Floyd out of the picture, we've got Danny Garcia, who looks strong at 147. He looked good against Paulie Malignaggi. He looked good. He looked real strong for 147. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. Danny Garcia and Marcos Maidana. Danny Garcia and Kel Brock. Danny Garcia and Timothy Bradley. There are a lot of fights to be made at 147. Amir Khan and Keith, one-time Thurman. You know what I mean? All these guys want to fight Floyd, but Floyd's fighting Berto. If this is his last fight, I don't think it is. Will be. If this is, I'm taking Floyd and Pacquiao out of the picture at 147. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? A lot of fights can be made at 140. Sean Porter and Marcos Maidana. You know what I mean? Sean Porter and Keith Thurman. Amir Khan and Kel Brock. If Amir Khan stopped ducking him, a lot of fights. You know what I mean? Amir Khan, Timothy Bradley. Kel Brock and Timothy Bradley. I mean, a lot of fights can be made at 147, no doubt. That's probably the deepest division in boxing right now. You know? So boxing is good, man. The current future state of boxing is good, man. 140, Terence Crawford and Lucas Matisse. You know what I mean? Terence Crawford and Pavatnikov. You know what I mean? They're Terence Crawford and Adrian Bronner. there are fights to be made. The Terence Crawford and Mauricio Herrera. Herrera gave Danny Garcia hell at 140 before he moved up. You know what I mean? A lot of people thought Herrera won that fight. Close fight. You know what I mean? Terence Crawford. I think Terence Crawford could be the future. Especially when I saw him, he beat Yuriakis Gamboa. You know, I thought maybe Gamboa could have been a little bit overrated anyway. But there are fights to be made at 140, man. Boxing is good, man. All these fights are coming up. There's no doubt. You know what I mean? So, you know, and we had the Abner Mares and Leo Santa Cruz fight. You know what I'm saying? What about down at featherweight? Featherweight and junior featherweight and featherweight. Is anybody gonna fight Guillermo Rigondeaux? You know what I mean? Is anybody gonna fight Rigondeaux, man? Gary Russell Jr. maybe, Nicholas Walters, who knocked out Nonito Donaire, Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg, you know what I mean? Any of these guys gonna fight Guillermo Rigondeaux? You know what I mean? Maybe a Lomachenko, you know what I'm saying? I think Gary Russell Jr. I don't think nobody died. What Guillermo Rigondeaux may be forced to do, unfortunately, what he may be forced to do is jump up like 3 weight classes just to get the big fights. But at some point, the Framptons and the Quiggs and the Gary Russells or the Nicholas Walters, you know what I mean? Maybe a Mares and a Santa Cruz, something like that. These guys got to start fighting Guillermo Rigondeaux. I mean, you can't keep ducking Guillermo Rigondeaux, man. Somebody got to get in the ring with this guy. You know what I mean? But boxing is in good hands, man. 2016, you know what I mean, should be a good year of boxing, man. Because Cotto Canelo in November is going to take us into 2016 on a good note. You know, even though that fight's in November, you got December, but that's going to lead us into 2016 on a good high note, man. And you know, a lot of these fights should be made, man, no doubt. I mean, people would love to see a Keith Thurman and the Timothy Bradley at welterweight, a Terence Crawford and Adrian Broner, a Terence Crawford and Lamont Peterson down at super lightweight, junior welterweight. You know what I'm saying? People would love to see these fights, man. Errol Spence Jr. is making a name for himself. He's talking about Keith one-time Thurman. I still think he's still working his way up. You know what I mean? But boxing is good, man. A lot of exciting fights that we want to see happen, that should happen. 2016, 2017. I mean, a lot of young fighters, man. A lot of young fighters. A lot of good young fights, action-packed fights that should be happening. Boxing ain't dead. It ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I think some of these guys are going to start fighting Guillermo Rigondeaux. Terence Crawford is probably going to start to separate himself. Physically, I don't think he's ready for 147 yet. Kind of like Adrian Broner, where he moved up to 147 and fought Maidana. Now, he fought Maidana and Sean Porter, talking about Adrian Broner, and those are the two of the most physical welterweights in the division. So that's why I think he should move down to 140, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And that's why I think Terence Crawford should stay at 140. Crawford and Broner 2016. Man, there's just so many fights, man. So many fights. Then if you throw Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather's name in the mix, then the list just goes on and on. You know what I mean? So many great fights that they were looking forward to 2016. Don't know if they're going to be pay-per-view. They're trying to push Canelo, maybe even Cotto. That fight's pay-per-view, but they're trying to push Canelo as that pay-per-view guy. Don't really know if he can consistently do the numbers. I think he needs an opponent to make that fight. You know what I mean? The James Kirkland fight wasn't pay-per-view worthy. The Edgerlanda Lara fight, not pay-per-view worthy. Canelo Cotto is. Canelo Triple G is. You know what I mean? It's not like Floyd and Manny, their names themselves is pay-per-view worthy. Canelo isn't there yet. If Triple G keeps winning, then maybe. But at some point, Triple G got to fight Andre Ward. There's no doubt about that. The Triple G hasn't fought the top notch of competition yet. The Cotto, Canelos, Andre Wards. But I think that's coming. That's coming. That's coming for Triple G. I'm not gonna knock him too hard. That's coming, man. But a lot of great fights, man. A lot of great fights that's coming up. No doubt about it, man. I'm just excited, man. Just had the Floyd Berto coming up to the Floyd Berto fight, had the Maurice and a Cruz fight, you know what I mean? A lot of good action-packed fights, great fights coming up on the horizon. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, what fights you want to see, things like that. Boxing ain't dead, man. It ain't going nowhere, man. I'm excited, man. The current future state of boxing is in good hands, man. It's in good hands. Let me know what you think, man. This your boy, The Real McCoy, man. I'm excited, man. I'm out. Peace.